What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Gabby and I am your new makeup bestie. Okay, we're gonna do our makeup together using super affordable drugstore makeup. So if you want to know how to get this look, then keep on watching. Okay, so we're gonna get started with prepping the face. I'm going to start off with NYX the Face Glue Gripping Primer. This is new. They recently launched this early this year and I have yet to try it, so we're gonna try it today. I have no idea how this feels on the face, but that is totally okay. I really like the packaging of this. It reminds me of elementary school. I used to glue my hands when I was a kid and I would let it dry. And I just loved to peel off all of the glue off of my fingers. I don't know if I was the only weird child to like doing that, but I don't know why. I just loved playing with glue. And so I just spread it all over my face. It does not feel sticky like glue whatsoever, but it is, oops. It does not feel sticky at all, but it does have like a little bit of grip there. For foundation, I'm going to do the Makeup Revolution Skin Silk, and this one is in the shade 11.5C. I've used this one other time before, but I'm going to try it out again today. It's actually a little hard to find a shade that matched my skin. It looks a little yellow, but then once I apply it on my skin, it doesn't look too bad and it blends in so nicely. And I'm using my Morphe M204 to apply my foundation. And I am just using a tapping and buffing motion. Don't forget to drag it down to your neck. So it doesn't look too bad. I think at first, when I first apply it onto my skin, it is a little intimidating because it looks a little dark, but I feel like it blends in so nicely with my skin. I would say this is more medium to full coverage. It is considered a serum foundation, so it's supposed to feel lightweight, and it does definitely feel lightweight on the skin. And I can go in with the second coat, but I want to keep this super natural today, so I'm going to keep this one coat for now. After my foundation, I'm just going to take this Ultra Slim Brow Pencil, and this is from Ulta Beauty, and it is in the shade Medium Brown. And I like to use this to just fill in a little bit of my brows on the inner corner. And I'll be completely real and honest, you guys, I don't feel like I am super confident in doing my brows all the time. I've had makeup artists do my brows before and they look so good, and I just cannot recreate that look. So that's gonna be a like learning curve for me, but something I definitely want to get better at is how to better shape out my brows. For now, I just focus on that inner corner there. Brush it a little bit. Not so much on the tail because my eyebrows are pretty thick and they don't need to be super full there. I just really focus on that the inner corner of my brows. And I'm not going to clean them up today. I'm just going to let them live. I'm going to move on forward with the concealer, and I'm going to go in with LA Girl. This is the Pro Concealer in the shade Pure Beige. I've used this before, but it is a brand new product. This is satisfying. Oh, there's little hairs already falling out of the tips. So I'm just going to push a little bit of that product out and start applying it. on the inner corner of my eye and a little bit on the outer corner. I'm going to blend that out using my Real NYX Brightening Concealer brush. And I'm just obsessed with this one. I honestly have not switched out to use a different brush because I just love how this one blends my concealer. After applying my concealer, I am going to do a cream bronzer, and I'm going to use Milani. This is Cheek Kiss in the shade Spicy Season. And it is this beautiful dark brown. I have yet to use it. Also satisfying to dip my brush in here. And today I'm going to use the Morphe M243. This is the cream and liquid contour brush. So I'm just going to dip my brush in here to get a little bit of product, and I'm going to then apply it right on my cheekbones here using a super light hand, moving it up into my temples. And this is really just meant to warm up my face. So I'm focused on the higher parts of my cheekbones here. I just want to get a little bit on my forehead here just to warm up. And then whatever's left on my brush, I'm just going to drag it across my jawline here. Now that I got my cream bronzer on, I'm going to move on and add on the cream blush. And this one is Pixi On The Glow blush. This is a tinted moisture stick, and this is in the shade Ruby. And I'm going to use the Morphe M204 brush to apply that. And I'm just going to again use the brush to pick up some of the product and then start tapping it into the high points of my cheekbones and really using that tapping and buffing motion up into my temples. And I just love how this color looks on my cheeks. It gives you a really fleshed look. Pick up a little bit more for the other side. And then I also like to apply this. I like to apply this on the tip of my nose. I just really love the look that this gives. Once I'm done applying that, I'm going to start setting it all with my powders, and I'm going to start with the NYX. This is the Can't Stop, Won't Stop Mattifying powder. I am using the shade Light, and I'm just going to use my brush. This is the M163 powder brush, and I'm just going to dip it into this and then start tapping it right underneath my under eye here. Not necessarily dragging the brush, but really just using that tapping motion. I really like this brush too because of the shape of it. If you have not seen the previous video on Morphe brushes, I really go in depth on some of these, but this just really gets like the side of my nose and like the inner corner of my eye. I feel like I can really get product in places that other brushes really can't just because of the shape of the brush. So I am obsessed with this guy, and it just feels so soft on the face. I'm also going to apply some of that on my eye because I don't know about you guys, but I was even noticing in my previous video, you can see like my foundation and concealer creasing on my eyelid. So I just use my finger to blend that out, and then I just grab a little powder and like set that on my eyelid because my eyes are oily. I also am going to set this on my forehead and my chin. Now that I set my under eyes, I'm going to go and set the bronzer that I had applied previously, and I'm going to use Ulta Beauty. This is their True Glow, and this is in the shade medium to deep. So this is a matte bronzer, and I'm going to use my Morphe brush. This is Morphe and Aereo collab. I'm just going to pick some of this up and just tap it over where I originally placed that cream bronzer. And I like this shade because it's super subtle, especially on a super chill day where I just want some makeup, but I don't want it to look too dramatic. Right, I got my bronzer. Now we're gonna move on to the blush, and I'm going to use, you already know, my Makeup Revolution blush palette. I've been using this all the time and I'm still obsessed. Today I'm going to go in with this pinky shade right over here. So I'm just going to dip my Morphe M201, pick up a little bit of that pigment. I'm just gonna tap a little bit on the back of my hand so it doesn't look too harsh on my cheek. And I'm just gonna work and sweep that on. So I just tapped it on and then I start kind of sweeping it over the cheek, and it really is a pretty pigmented blush. So just be careful when you are applying it, because when I first got this brush or this palette and I dipped my brush in there, I didn't like necessarily take off any of the excess, and it was bright. It was so bright, and I'm like, oh great, totally ruined the look. But that's how you learn your lesson. You live and you learn. So as you can see, this is pretty pigmented here, so I'm just going to use this to buff this in. And actually I'm going to grab, this is also the Morphe and Aereo collab. This is all over face brush, and I'm just going to pretty much sweep that across the face so that everything is nice and blended and there are no harsh lines on your face, so it looks nice and finished here. Now that I'm done with complexion, I'm going to move on to eyes, and for today I'm going to dip into my Little Ray of Sunshine palette. So I'm going to dip it into this guy right here. This is Sun and Out, just to get a base going here. And I'm just dabbing it onto my eye. Ooh, she's a little pigmented too. I want to do a super natural eye, so then I'm going to go into this brown and apply it to my crease. There is a lot of fallouts on this palette. As you can see, every time I dip it, like how much powder is coming off. Just be careful it doesn't fall on all the hard work you did on your other eyes, because sometimes I do that and I have to like fix my concealer again on my under eyes. Some people do their eyes before they do the rest of their face, and that's cool too. I do that sometimes also, but I always do my eyes as one of like the last steps. Unless I'm doing something dramatic, then I'll do my eyes first, but something like this, that's simple, quick, and easy, not so much. And for the eyelid, I'm just going to use my finger and I'm going to rub it into vitamin D and just press that into my eyelid. It is time for mascara. I love mascaras, you guys. They make my lashes look so nice and full. Like, I rarely have to use falsies because I feel like my lashes are pretty long. So I usually just go in with the mascara. I'm doing the CoverGirl Lash Blast Cleantopia Mascara. And this is in the shade Blackest Brown. So I'm going to apply those onto my top lashes. And I feel like it gives it just enough volume. I'm going to set the face using Milani Make It Last, the original spray. It gives you a natural finish, and it has a 24-hour wear. Finishing it off with a lip, and I really was torn between two lippies today, either the e.l.f. Glow Reviver lip oil or the new Maybelline Super Stay Teddy Tint. This one is in the shade Current Mood, and this one is in the shade Rose Envy. So I did not know which route to go in. I think I'm gonna do Current Mood. I don't think I've tried this one just yet, so let's give it a go. Ooh, she's pretty. This is a mood. This is supposed to last all day with little to no application. It's supposed to stain the lip, and we'll see, because then it's nice. Then later in the day, I don't have to reapply. I could just add a gloss on top of this. I'm just gonna add a little bit more because I'm actually loving the color. This looks really good. So I'm happy with my choice. And here is the final look. Super simple makeup, everyday look, nothing too crazy, using all drugstore makeup, super affordable. The new products I used today are looking really good. I think the only one is Makeup Revolution. I think it still looks a little too dark on me, but you know what? Summer's around the corner, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to fall into this shade anyways. So this will probably be my new go-to summer foundation, because it is a little dark. I'm still a little light from the winter, so that one will be once I get my tan going. But yeah, overall, I really like the look. Obsessed with the lippy, and I'm ready to conquer my day, you guys. When I have a nice, fresh, full face, I feel like I'm ready to take on the day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.